Hi everyone. So today we're going to go over a faux Roman shade. Faux Roman shade meaning fake, which means it does not operate. Here is one that I had just finished off. And you can take a look at the back of here. So there are no strings or anything on it. Now you might wonder, why would you want to do this and not just a full Roman shade? Well, for one reason is that it takes much less material. You don't have to worry about adding clutches or strings, which can be hazardous to young children. As a matter of fact, what's going on today is that a lot of people are taking their cordless shades, like their cellular shades like this, that are completely cordless, and they're installing one of these and then putting your brackets for a cellular shade and placing the cellular shade behind the faux Roman shade and pulling this down at nighttime or whatever. And as long as you have a nice coordinating color to it, it kind of matches. So that is one way to get out of having strings, but also have the softness of a faux Roman shade. Now, the last time that I had posted something like this, I did do a full review of how to make this, but there was a lot of questions. So we're going to answer those. We're going to start right by the rings, what spacing you need, and etc. And I'm going to show you how we made ours. And by the way, if you haven't ever viewed my channel before, my name is Scott, and I have a little workroom called Designer's Workroom. We manufacture all kinds of window treatment, shades, blinds, draperies, bedspreads, etc. I like to put these little things together for people and give you some quick tips. So let's go and look at how my ring spacing is, because it's a little different from what you would expect. Okay, first we're going to talk about the sewing of a faux Roman shade. There's several ways that you can sew this, but either way, you should be putting a 2-inch double turned bottom hem. Now we are putting in 1-inch side hems along here, but you don't have to do that. You can actually pillowcase it. What does pillowcase mean? Pillowcase means just like you see on a pillowcase where you're sewing edge to edge, and we refer to that as pillowcasing. But either way, even if you do that, then you still want to double turn a 2-inch bottom hem like this. And the reason why is that you have to add, or you should add, a bottom bar. The bottom bar being something like this, and I can tell you can pick this up at Home Depot or Lowe's. It's actually made for screens. You make a screen frame out of it, but these come 72 inches long. They're fairly cheap. They're easy to cut with either a hacksaw or a grinder, and they seem to work very well. Home Depot or Lowe's will have them. Look for their screens, their indoor-outdoor screens, and you will always find these. And they come in brown also. Anyhow, having said that, that's what you want to do. Now, we prefer not pillowcasing. The only reason is because it's a little flimsy on the sides here. So we like to stiffen it up with at least a single 1-inch blind stitched hem on the sides. And then the rings, as you can probably see right here, are sewn right next to the hemline. As far as spacing going across, you are looking at 8 to 10 inches. Going up is the odd part of the shade. This is where I had a lot of questions and they kind of didn't believe me. So we're going to go over that. From the very bottom edge to your first ring is 4 inches. You're going to take that and it's going to be 4 inches to the bottom so you want to mark up from your bottom hem up 4 inches and put your first mark. Then you're going to put your second mark from here to here is actually 6.5 inches. Now it does not matter whether you're making this 12 inches long or if you're making it 20 inches long, this formula does not change. So 4 inches here from this ring up to here, it's 6.5 inches. And then you're going to put 2 more rows of rings here, and they are both set 5 inches. 5 inches here and 5 inches here. The rest of this here is going to be whatever length you want. And I am board mounting, but you don't have to board mount it. You can make a hem right here, and you could use this on, say, some type of a decorative pole if you want. That would be totally up to you. Ours right now are mounted on a board. Here is my board that I have ready to go. And then I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to put a welting on it so it looks just like this one with the welting. Then there's a couple of screws that go here and it goes up into the casing for being mounted inside the window casing. That's how this particular one is. Not to say it can't go above your window with an L bracket or a rod if you prefer doing it with a rod. That can be worked either way. So with this formula, oh, by the way, as you can see, it is evenly spaced. They are perfectly evenly spaced. And that's where the question comes. Like, how does that come out? Well, it takes a lot of formula and a lot of calculating to get it to work out that way. Now, the next thing is, how are these rings held up? All right, so here it is. We have clip rings, open-ended clip rings. Now, I'm going to post a link at the bottom in the description for my Amazon store. My Amazon store has upholstery, it has Roman shades, and you'll find this in the Roman shade department. It'll have rings, it'll have strings, etc. And we use this, it's an open-ended ring. And basically what you do is you take your shade, it's very simple. You add them to the bottom like that, and you bring it up to your next ring and you clip it into the next one. And so it's going to have 3 here and it's going to clip all the way up. When you're done, that is what it will look like. So that's that. Now let's get into the sewing of the rings, because people hate sewing, and I've covered this before, but I want to cover it again regarding putting your rings on, because we hand sew we hand tie these on. We do not sew each one. It's just way too time consuming, and so when you look at it, you can't even tell where they are. Okay, here's the ring right here, and you can you see that? Not really, and that's tied on. By far much quicker of a process. Let me show you that real quickly. So what we use is a yarn. It looks like this. It's basically a yarn that you would do your knitting with. Again, a link on Amazon will get you there. And we also have a big needle like this that it'll go through. You can't use the little small one because it has to have enough of an opening. So what we do is we start at the hemline and we just come across like this. Hopefully you can see that. And then we go, usually this would be much longer. I'm just going to do 2. And then we'd go to our next dot where you marked it off, and you'd put it through like that. And there you have it. We cut in between, we take our ring, and basically we just tie it, at least a double knot. And I would suggest taking a little bit of hot glue and just touching that knot with the hot glue so it doesn't slip out, especially if you're making a full Roman shade. But if you're just making a full Roman shade, probably not a big deal. But anyhow, that's how you do it. You tie it, and that's why you see all of these tied. So that's a quick tip there. Now, about the length. A lot of questions about getting the right length. This is cut much longer than I needed. This is actually 36 inches long. Finished, that means it was cut around 40 inches in length because you have a double 2-inch bottom hem. And I knew this would cover the length just fine. So what you want to do, and sometimes you have to play with it, and it's a good thing that you have a board. Even if you're not going to use a board, it's a good way to get your length. So you're going to start out by pleating all these up like this. So it looks like this on the bottom. Then you can, at that point, you can do it a couple different ways. You can see I have a line on here. We wanted ours 12. And yes, it does take a little bit of a guesswork at first, but what we did is we came up a distance from here to here, actually ended up being 6 inches. But you can start way up here if you want and work your way down. But the idea here is to draw a line and put your board at the line, straight at the line, bring it over, and then stick some push pins inside, keeping it on the line. I'm not doing exact so you can see, but take some push pins, put them in, and check your length. Make sure you have the length the way you want it. You're going to have leftover. That's fine. Once you get your length, and this, of course, is all pleated up already. I'm just trying to do this the fast version, not show you every single little detail. Once you do that, once you get it, you can cut the excess off, even if you're making a pocket out of it. So there are just a few quick tips on it. Again, I understand the biggest question I had the last time I did this video was the fact that these were not evenly spaced, because you got a 4-inch, you got a 6.5 inches, then 5 inches and 5 inches. Very confusing, I understand, but I promise you it comes out exactly like this, nice and even. So that's it for today, guys. Hey, if you like this type of content, please just do me a favor and push the like button. I'd really appreciate it. It also helps my channel grow a little bit more. It gets this information out to other people who are trying to sew and trying to figure things out. I really appreciate you guys, and take care, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you again for watching.